Today on DockSide TV, we are chasing the ever so common speckled trout that we always do in Louisiana. The only difference is we are in Florida on the Perdido River. I hope you enjoy this episode of DockSide TV. Perdido River speckled trout.
We're over here in the Perdido River. We basically just came over here blind, trying to see what we can do. And all we did, come over here just doing basically what we do back in Louisiana. 3/8 jig head, green hornet was our bait of choice, as well as magneto, natural colors. The water's crystal clear here. And what we figured out is a lot of these speckled trout are in these canals that are about 12, 14 feet off of the main river. The main river, some parts are around 20 and 30. Getting these little sloughs back here in an area that looks like we should be freshwater fishing. And we're just basically fishing the middle of the canal, deep canals, just like we do back home in Louisiana. And a little bit different over here, but the main thing is we're jigging the bottom, we're casting, and what we're noticing, most of our bites are coming. We're jigging the bottom a little bit, and you kind of feel a short strike or something. You know the fish is there. We're just kind of cranking it, jigging it up, cranking it nice and slow on the bottom, and getting those bites cranking. They're kind of suspended. They're not on the exact bottom. They're about 3-4 feet off the bottom. So what we're doing, jigging it real hard, giving a lot of action off the bottom, cranking it, and we're getting those hook sets right then and there. We're getting those bites there. And a little bit different fishing than what we're used to, but I mean, same type of fishing, jigging and all, but areas different, but the fishing it's still catching. We're jigging a 3/8 with a matrix shad, and no different anywhere we go, just about the same thing, and always produces.
Alright, the gear that we used today was simply an open face jig head. It was the jig head that we make, Golden Eye. We used a 3/8 ounce jig head when we were in the main river, which was 15 to 25 foot of water. It helped get the bait down to the bottom. The currents were a little bit swifter there, and we caught a handful of fish in there. But where we really caught the fish the best was on the sloughs off the main river, which there's several of them here in the Perdido River, and we switched to a 5/16 ounce black platinum jig head. And what we would do is we would count it down. It was generally about 14, 15 foot of water in there. We'd count it down to the bottom, jig it a few times, but about halfway through our presentation, we would just slowly start to crank it in. Of course, with the two different matrix shads, we used multiple matrix shads attached to the jig head, and we just simply would rail it in slowly and let that tail swim naturally through the water. And that was really the most effective way to do it. With all of this timber that was on the banks, a lot of it was blown into the water. So if you just simply jigged on the bottom the whole time, you got a lot of snags. So what was more effective, like I said, was to let it hit the bottom and then just slow swim it, slow rail it through the water column. And a lot of our bites, surprisingly, came in the 7 to 8 foot of water, even though it was 15 foot deep, and that kept us away from the snags. That was the most effective way to do it today.
just cast it right over there, kind of where it's at like an interchange in canals. There's 3 canals all meeting right here, and they kind of go off to a dead end. We thought it'd be a little bit shallow and fresh. Well, it's pretty fresh. It's about the freshest water I've probably ever caught a trout in my life. And just that real root beer color, something looks like we'd be catching sac-a-lait in. But we got a bite on the way in. I just threw right there. It's about 10 feet. And sinking on the way down, thumped it. It's crazy. We just came here, no knowledge, no anything, just doing what we do best, jigging canals just like we do in Louisiana in the winter. It's a little bit different over here in the middle of the woods and fresh water, weird stuff that we'd think we'd be sac-a-lait fishing in, but odd places for speckled trout, but they got them.
Catch a little bit of everything out here, obviously. Todd just caught about a 17-inch trout. I cast it on the other side of the boat with this magneto. Caught a nice little 10 or 12-inch bass. Go ahead and release him. Shows you the diversity out here in Florida. Similar to back home in Louisiana, whenever you can find river systems, you got freshwater meeting and saltwater making brackish water. That's where the bait goes in the winter. Oop, a little nibble there. That's where the bait goes in the winter. That's where the fish go in the winter. See if we can get on. Oh, there he is. Let's see what we got here. We on a little bite here. Another bass. Come here, bad boy. We have no idea where we're at right now. Simply going off our GPS. Found the launch on Google Earth. Catching bass, speckled trout, and redfish right here on DockSide TV. We'll be right back. When we find these shallower cuts off the main river here, we've been noticing we're catching a few more rat reds rather than the speckled trout. This cut here is only about 5 or 6 foot deep. Caught a few rat reds in this one. Shows the versatility of the matrix shad. Catches everything, even in Florida.
Another decent trout to end the day on right there. Just caught him just like how we fish some of the canals back home. Straight canal, 10 foot of water in the middle, jigging the edges. Another awesome day out here in Florida, Perdido River. For all our other episodes, check us out at www.docksidela.com, and don't forget to like and subscribe our page, DockSide TV.
Leave your worries at the dock and come enjoy the water. It's Ito time, peace of mind. If your boat won't go, don't you worry, cause you know it's Ito time. peace of mind. To the rescue, Cito time. To the rescue, Cito time. Cito.com.